It's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo, guys, what is up? Max from Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about Immortal Moze, my Moze build that gave you immortality on Moze. You can never die with it, and the changes that have happened to it. Today, we're going to talk about what changed and what you can do if you still want to play this build. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe on that, guys. Let's get right into it. So this isn't really like a build video. I'm not giving you guys like stars or rating. I'm just talking about what happened to this build and how you can still play it if you'd like to. And the first thing to talk about is the super soldier and how it got fixed. Now, I'm calling this a fix because it shouldn't have worked like this in the first place. Shields in Borderlands typically have their effects not overlapping endlessly. For example, the stopgap gives you immunity when you drop below a certain threshold, but it has a cooldown. Basically, the stopgap's cooldown was added to the super soldier. So this build was exploiting the on-shield full gain a protective barrier for 5 seconds effect. We were using it with amp and a bloodletter with health regen on it, which basically means that when we shoot our weapon, our shield would drop so that we would lose it, and then our health regen with our bloodletter would regen our shields because all health regen turns into shield regen. Basically, we shoot, our shield, as you can see, depleted there for a millisecond before going all the way to full because of our health regen. This gives us our protective barrier though. So you can see, like, I still got this protective barrier. I'm still immune to my self-splash damage. There is now a time where you will no longer be immune. And you can see, like, it still works. Like, I'm getting my immunity. But if I, for example, give this a few seconds, and then we shoot for 5 seconds where I'm constantly being damaged, and there's no point where I wouldn't be getting damaged. So, like, we're constantly having things happen. You will go down. You will die now on this build. However, as you saw, it still gives you immortality or immune to your self-damage and all damage for 5 seconds. Then you have to wait a little bit of time, and then you can start shooting again. The problem with this is, for example, you saw there, I didn't have a dot on me. If I'm now using something with a fire dot, for example, like a powerful root dot, you will just instant nuke yourself, because it's the millisecond that goes down, millisecond that your immunity goes down, you're dead because of the dot that's on you. This makes it really tricky with Moze, because I should go down here in a second. There it is. So you are getting immunity from your own splash damage, but the immunity goes away, and if you have any dots on you, you're going to kill yourself. If you're not timing your shots perfectly and dots going away, you're going to kill yourself. Basically, what this leads to is a no longer Immortal Moze, and you're just going to die while playing this build. However, it is still a usable build and actually still pretty freaking strong, and I'll tell you why. This system of using a amp shield with low level with a bloodletter is still a cool method. Now, you can run around with non-splash weapons and basically be immune, because when you're using this with non-splash weapons, you only have like 1 second of non-immortality. And as long as you're not self-dotting or doing self-damage, you'll stay immune during that. So Immortal Moze is still immortal as long as you're not using self-splash weapons. What does that bring us to? It brings us to kind of like a Vladof Valkyrie build, where you can use like the Light Show, the Butcher, the Redistributor, the No Pew Pew weapons that don't really do self-damage to you. Are still going to be really, really strong, and you're still not going to die. You just can't use these like big splash weapons that are going to hurt you and dot you, because you will kill yourself. One of the cooler weapons that I wanted to show you guys off is the Redistributor. As soon as my Cub kills itself, we should have some damage. Cub's dead. I got big surplus. The Redistributor is a cool weapon that I wanted to showcase today on this build, because if you guys know what Chain Zane is, every time that you shoot a Redistributor that has an amped shot, it is going to chain to enemies. What this causes, and it's a build that I made a long time ago, was called Livewire Moze, where you'd use like a redistributor on Moze and you'd basically turn into Chain Zane. With the Super Soldier, you are Livewire Moze, but now you're invincible as well. And like obviously you can still die here. Like as you saw, I just took some damage there, but my immunity kicked in again pretty quickly. So if you do still want to use Immortal Moze, you can, but you're going to have to change the weapons that you're using and change the playstyle. I recommend anything that is a fun weapon to use that is non-splash. There's a lot of cool non-splash weapons that you can use with this. I wanted to show off the redistributor because I think it's one of the more interesting ones, just because every shot is going to be getting that chaining effect, which is super cool. Not like the strongest thing here. I'm also using these with like next 2 mags. I'm not even level 70. But yeah, the Butcher, the Light Show, anything that you want to use will work decently well with this. I will have updated Moze builds because, to be honest with you guys, now that the like the self splash is gone and we're using non-splash weapons, we'd be better off using a Revolter. Even though we'd lose the amp stuff, we'd be better off using a Revolter. The Revolter can't roll with amp, unfortunately, so you can't like use a Revolter with this setup. But I will have updated Moze builds that I do think are going to be better than this build. Just genuinely, like, now that we're not using splash weapons, I can make a better non-splash Moze build than this that'll do more damage. I know I can. But I just wanted to show you guys that if you do want to still use Immortal Moze, it does still kind of work. You are basically still immortal, but you can't use splash weapons. You got to switch up your playstyle. You got to use some different things. If you got the gear for this build, there's still fun things you can do with it. But yeah, it has been fixed. All right, and that is going to do it for today's video. In conclusion, Immortal Moze got fixed. It's still a solid build that is going to give you a ton of survivability, but I genuinely think we can just do better. I should be showing some footage of like the build that I've been working on that I think is just going to be all around just way better. And yeah, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Take care. Peace.
I was putting in the